Yo, 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 yo. What's going on, YouTube? We back. We are back. Apologies for the previous live stream for those who was a part of the conversation, or for those that missed it and might have came late. Catch the first part of this live. I'm back. Apparently, I had mic issues, but you know, gotta reboot sometimes. And that's another thing I was speaking about earlier that I'm gonna bring back for some of you content creators or future content creators. You might get issues like that. So just be prepared for it. Like I said, wasn't gonna hold you long. For those that might have just been tuning in, I did have some audio issues. So if you did miss out on what I was saying, I paused everything to a degree. So I'm gonna get back to it. Give y'all some time to get back in. Inferno, what's going on? What's going on? But yeah, apologies, y'all. Had some mic issues again, so if I went out at some point, I do apologize. But I will be getting back to the matter at hand. Bud Files, what's going on? What's going on? I've been cooling, man. I've been cooling. You know that already. Brian never stops. I had to reboot this live stream that I'm doing now. But yeah, sometimes it be like that too. Especially when you hitting on something good. I noticed that. So but yeah, we back. And appreciate everybody who was a part of the recent live stream. If you did miss it, just go back to it. It's still up there. One thing I won't be doing is getting rid of content, even if I got a remix and come back. James, coffee cups in the chat. Didi baby, welcome back everybody. Again, apologies. Had a mic issue. Don't know why. Don't want to know why. Before I go left, yeah. No, you already listen. This is what we got to do. Got to bring some entertainment. Got to bring a little variety of things. But yeah, all in all, though, it was a good topic of discussion. I hit some key points. So let me get everybody jump started for those who are coming in. Previously, just talked about you know making good choices when it comes down to one aspect, which is content creation. And the second part was actually a little more deeper than that and had nothing to even do with social media. And apparently, I got the karate chop. But I'm back, baby. But yeah, you just do have to make better choices. Again, if you did miss the previous live or if you was in the previous live and I sounded like I went into the matrix, I did. But I'm back. But yeah, you have to make solid choices. Now, where I left off at is something because it's real. You have to remind yourself that again, you're going to be taking chances. You need to be safe in taking those chances. Those chances shouldn't cost you. Shouldn't cost you your life, your freedom, your health. Somebody make sure it's worth it. Some people they get caught up, like I said, they get caught up in the aspect of right now and what feels good right now. Not thinking that in the long run, the decision could possibly affect how things move. And you got to take that into consideration as well. Pardon the wind, y'all. Pardon the wind. But you got to be solid, though. You have to be solid in the choices you make when it comes down to, again, who you giving your bodies to. And, like I said, I call it that middle. You gotta be responsible for yourself and accountable for yourself. If you don't value yourself that much, don't cry later on. It's tricky, definitely. You know? My bad, y'all. My bad. Almost had an incident. Almost had an incident. But no, you gotta think about that. You know, have to be mindful and all cylinders, especially on that level. You can't force nobody to do nothing, but you can give some advice. For some of y'all, it is important to take that advice because if you decide to make a poor choice, you're gonna have to bear with the consequences. And in some instances, those consequences will not be sweet. Welcome back, Serious Baby. Yes, again, welcome back, everybody who was a part of the previous live stream. I didn't forget where I left off at. I did not forget where I left off at. I have to remix real quick to get this mic back. Somebody pray for my scalp, y'all. Pray for my damn scalp. But yeah, and again, I'm calling it down the middle. I had to be careful. I feel in some instances it would be a lot less mama's babies and papa's maybes. Some of y'all would just, again, be wise. Think twice about what you're getting yourself into. But most importantly, again, just be safe. To the scalp club, yes. But again, you notice that. You notice when your boy cooking on Sunday, decide to mess with me some way, somehow. But like I said, the point is to get a message across. And that message should just be clear for some of y'all. Make better choices. Make better decisions. In some instances, again, you just gotta know somebody inside and out before you decide to do anything on a certain realm or a certain level of things. So if you're not careful in the choices that you're making, or if you're unsure of the choices that you plan on making, again, take a step back and observe it and make sure that it's a calculated choice. Once you made that decision, again, that decision falls on you, nobody else. That's like if somebody tells you to invest all your money in this one stock and you unsure of that stock or you think that stock could crash at some point and you go completely bankrupt, think twice about if it's really worth it or not. And if you do got that, how they say, inside trader stock or trader whatever, guess what? You better follow what you need to follow. And for some of y'all, it really shouldn't be hard to make careful decisions. Because on both ends, for some of y'all, you don't want to be in a position of ending up burning yourself. Literally. Have to be careful in those scenarios. That's the most helpful advice somebody could give right now. So if you want to be doing whatever, make sure it's with somebody that's worth it. And make sure that it's conducive. Make sure that it is going to lead somewhere further than just where it's at right now. But it just, again, you got to think about the health aspect and the apparatus of it more than anything. Some of y'all fellas out there, you got thirsty for the same token. What happens if you get the wrong thing? And again, what happens if it's irreversible? These things you need to start thinking about. Same thing with you ladies. It goes both ways. But then you have to be solid with the decisions that you make. Because you have choices. It's the choosing make choices. You want to make sure you cover all bases. Like I said, for some of y'all ladies out there, if all you feel that's all you got to offer is your body, sadly feel sorry for some of y'all in the future. It's not gonna again, you're gonna have to figure out what's conducive to your life. Some of y'all, if you feel that's what you want to do is have fun and games, cool. Just remember at some point, fun and games are gonna be over. The reason why I say it that way is because at some point, you're gonna want to settle down. At some point, you're gonna want to find the right person. But guess what? If you done had too much fun, chances of you finding that could be slim to none. or if you choose to put certain things over that, you're gonna have a problem. Lucy, welcome back. See you up in here. Thank you, serious baby. I'm good. I'm good. Like I said, it's trying to fake rain, but yeah, it's more wind than anything. So light skin work. My bad for the wind, y'all. My bad. But yeah, you just gotta take that into consideration again. Your temple is your prized possession. You know, don't allow the wrong things into that. So serious, I need your umbrella. Come on, I need that umbrella, baby. Yeah, but you gotta think about it. That's the most important thing to remember is you are responsible. And if you make the wrong decisions, those decisions can affect your life, your health overall, if anything. That's something that you really should still remember. You know, you got to make a clear decision. And make sure that when you make that decision, it's for the right reasons and with the right person. And it's about choices. Umbrellas in the chat, baby. Umbrellas in the chat, baby. Yeah, but you gotta think about that. It's a cruel world out here because again, you gotta think about it. Some people are not being as open and honest as they should be, and that's on both ends. Again, some people are out here knowing that their health is bad as far as on that level, and you spread the same old things. You got to be careful on that level. James, I'm good, bro. I'm good. But no, you just got to remember that part. You know, got to be responsible at all times. And sometimes all it takes is one time. Again, put yourself in the hot seat. I'm quite sure if you ain't trying to be taking shots or medications or anything along those lines to clear up those small ones, you definitely ain't gonna want to make the wrong mistake and then get something that you really can't fight over. Sorry. Oh, shoot. It's time to think. Again, use your better thinking to your brain. There's some things that just go off of feelings and everything else. No, you gotta think about the logic. Like we still don't have those main diseases that people have succumbed to. It's not a joke, man. There's some of y'all who don't care, but you should care about yourselves enough. You should respect yourself enough. Yeah, I hear that word. Let me see that wind in the chat. Let me see that wind in the chat. Let me see that wind in the chat, y'all. This ain't Mary Poppins, y'all. It's the boss type of no, but just it's time for some of y'all to again just think about your health aspect more than anything. Like I said, you no good to nobody, or you no good to yourself. You end up messing yourself over. You just gotta again just cover everything. Cover your bases with people. Some of y'all know y'all should make better choices, but you refuse to. You refuse to because again, you feel like what's the purpose? You're living like you don't got it tomorrow, you know? Marlene, baby. Yes, we back. We back. You know I wasn't going to finish off incomplete when it comes down to these messages. But yeah, again, you gotta think about that. You know, key decisions that you make, especially if it's going to be detrimental to you, it will be consequences and repercussions. And in some instances, there is no coming back. So you have to be mindful of who you doing things with regardless. You like I said, if you ain't planning on building a family and a complete family structure with that person, y'all not going but that far. Better start wrapping it up. You're absolutely right. The wrong decisions do have consequences. You don't want to have the house in Virginia. You definitely don't want it to be that next step above that. Because that right there is almost like an unalive sentence. I'm gonna try to keep it a little bit in while I'm still on here. Again, that goes on both ends. But again, ladies, you do have the access to that. For some of y'all, it shouldn't be hard to make a decision. Because from what I've seen, there's some of you who just you go after the it factor. But then you again putting yourself in a precarious position. You need to do your research. Again, those type of decisions have consequences. And for some of y'all, you don't need to be in that position. If you're gonna do whatever it is you're gonna do, make sure, and this is on both ends, make sure a person ain't married, make sure that person is not quote unquote separated. If it ain't nothing official as far as that person really being single, hey, leave it alone. In most instances, nothing good comes out of it. Really don't. Some of y'all men out there dealing with married women and vice versa. That ain't a good look either. But Again, your decisions or your poor decisions will have consequences. Like prime example for some of y'all, you're making the wrong decisions again as far as bringing children into the world and you can barely even do for yourself. In my opinion, that really is selfish. Just I think about it. If you don't learn to read certain scenarios and situations, if you don't learn from your previous mistake, you're bound to keep making the same mistakes until finally wisen up. Or it's too late to salvage whatever it is you're trying to salvage. And that's a whole fact, Marlene. That's a whole fact. That's what I'm saying. You have to be mindful of what you're doing. And again, who you doing things with. It is tricky out here because again, you got people who are doing things or might have things and they ain't saying nothing. This is another reason why you should be mindful. Because some things might look good on the surface, but it could be rotten on the inside. So that's something you got to think about as well too. You know, just again, got to make better decisions and choices for your life. So I would advise the brothers out there to be safe. But see, I can honestly say this with most men out there, and I mean men, we not making irresponsible decisions. So even if we gotta wait for that possible time to do anything, hey, this is what they're gonna do. So I would say in that instance, for those who need to hear it, those who have that immature mindset to just be irresponsible and not think about responsibility. When children are involved, no matter what, you should be a focal part of your child's growth. And I would say that on either end. No more deadbeat parents. No more irresponsible parents. No more immature minded parents. Time to start thinking for the betterment of the future. Some of y'all, again, you don't know what might entail or transpire over the next few years, possibly the next 10, depending. So, Jared, what's going on, my guy? You better remember, it's time to start making clear, executed choices so you can make the right decision. And again, take the advice. People are telling you these people are out there, or anything that has to deal with irresponsibility and lack of self awareness and knowledge. Yeah, you don't need that around you. Ladies, I don't care how good the fella mate look. Fellas, I don't care how bad the girl mate look. Again, you gotta remember, you gotta make a solid choice and make sure that everything is copacetic. And if it's not, don't waste your time. Again, it's just about the solid decision making. How do you know when you're making the right decision? Again, you ain't got to worry about nothing at all. You can trust that person. Everything is where it need to be at. When you know you have a strong build and a strong connection, and again, you don't have to worry about it. Give me 1 second, y'all. I don't know, but the other side is still closed. My bad, y'all. But yeah, then you just got to be very responsible with your body. And remember, if you have made a mistake, the only thing you can do is learn from it and just avoid the same mistake again. But again, you have to make better choices. Some of y'all, you should be thinking about the overall bigger picture and not just the for the moment type of thrill. You gotta think about if this is a person that you could build with and connect with on all levels. You should be thinking about if this person is mentally capable and stable of carrying on with the building process. You need to make sure the person is not controlling, abusive, or could be damaging to anything you are trying to, you know, have for your life. You want peace. Hey, then make sure you got the right person. Don't end up in pieces. Huh? You didn't get to know a person inside and out. And once you know you got knowledge on the person, hey, you still need to make a clear decision if that's something you're gonna go with. You know the person's not really there for the long haul. They just there for the thrills and the fun. That's still up to you to decide if that's what you gonna roll with. But if you ain't gonna roll with it, hey, roll around. Roll around somewhere else. Because again, it is your decision. Aaron, what's going on, my guy? But yeah, you just can't take certain things for granted. You can't take your health for granted. Can't take your spiritual peace for granted neither. Again, just have solid ground. No doubt, my guy. I appreciate you. Hope all well with you and the fam and all. But this is something that should be a solid, constant reminder in your mind. You can't afford and you can't risk playing dangerous games. Like I said, try to preserve yourself as much as possible. But also remember, if you decide to keep doing certain things, like I said, at some point, fun is going to stop because you're going to realize you done missed out on a lot of different opportunities. And in some cases, it might end up being too late. I hear you, bro. Hey, whatever's going to whatever's going to help you along your journey. That's the most important thing, bro. Dude. Like I said, get back to the things that you like. Get back to the things that bring you peace. For some of y'all, if you want some spiritual peace, your best bet is to preserve yourself as much as possible. But when you know solid, you got the right person you building with, you know, just lock in. But again, you are in control of your own destiny when it comes down to what you do. Uh, and start being safe out there. I've been cooling, man. Workflow, Ryan never stop bringing these good talks. But yeah, that's what's needed right now. Healthy conversation. Like I said, find out what you need to find out before you just jump into anything crazy. Some of y'all, you get caught out there again because you're not doing your due diligence. In some instances, you got people out there lying about their marital status. That's something that should make you think twice about just doing anything with anybody. There are some people out there who are lying or not being as honest about their marital situation. And in some instances, got people caught up. So again, you have to be wary and be careful. Make a better choice. And again, when you got someone that is conducive to your life, when you got someone who you know is really on the up and up, like I said, just lock in with them. And you keep building on solid ground. That's all you can do. Some people don't think about it because they get caught up again in the glitz of everything, but it's just things to think about. It is your body and your choice. You choose to do what you want. But just know if you do all the irresponsible things of that nature, could be some consequences. Consequences you might not be able to deal with or bear. Consequences that could change your life overall on all aspects. But I feel that is the better option. Preserve yourself as much as possible, but choose not to. Just know what those consequences. Your main focus should just be on solid ground. And for some of y'all, you need to make better choices. Because remember, if you decide to build as far as bringing life into the world, again, you have to be responsible on all cylinders, and you have to be ready for the task. It's never going to be easy. Like you'll hear some people cry and mope about not being able to do certain things, or they reflect on certain situations, and it seems like they're a little bit upset, depressed, or a little bit bitter. But in the same token, y'all made these decisions. Again, this is on both ends. Some dudes out there upset right now because they notion to just want to be unsafe cost them something. Like I said, unless you plan on really being with that person and solidify that you're going to be moving forward, as long as that person is doing right by you on those cylinders, don't mess yourself up. Like I said, make better choices so you can make better decisions. You have a choice to build and be with somebody who's going to be locked in with you. You could choose to be running around all loose and crazy. You could be completely irresponsible, or you could do nothing at all. But it all depends. Different folks, different strokes. So that's solely up to you. But when you decide to make specific decisions and they do affect your life, can't cry about it later. Most you could do again is learn from it, move forward. Make sure you're making a clear decision that's going to be beneficial to your life, not detrimental. The choices that you do make, again, it'll solidify the right decision. It will. And in some situations, you're going to have to make a critical one. Doesn't mean it's for the bad. Definitely just means that it's giving you something to look at and think about. Again, the choice is yours, what you going to do. I'm just giving some clear advice. That's it. And some logical advice. From a health aspect of things, again, you should want to think about your overall health, not just physically, but mentally as well. Hopefully, some of y'all don't learn the hard way, but I can't really say much. I said the only thing I do is just give some fair advice. Some of y'all who, again, will make all forms of careless decision, and it will cost you dearly. And depending on the scenario, it really could affect your life on the financial tip as well too. Don't forget that aspect of things. But again, just be responsible in who you doing anything. It has to be trust. It has to be loyalty and honesty. So, but it also has to be respect. So, and if the person does respect you as much as you respect them, then you made a good choice. You made a good decision on place around. Life is going to be full of a lot of hard lessons, but when it comes down to your overall health, that shouldn't be a lesson too hard to fathom, and also that's not one that you really want to take a risk at. While you still are healthy and able to do everything, again, and keep yourself on the up and up. Liz, baby. That's the whole fact, serious. I mean, but again, we just gotta have the right expectations and reasonable ones. And like I said, just read people better. That's it. Be a fair exchange when it comes down to building and growing with somebody. One is giving more than the other. That's or giving way too much. That's not a good look. So, like I said, you have to meet at some form of common ground for it to work. Again, you better make sure that you got the right one that you going all the way with. Once you reach a certain age, you start seeing things for what it is. Uh, Those in your young 20s, be careless now. But when you get into your 30s, even into your 40s, that's when things is really going to hit. You want to at least make it into whatever age, actually be with somebody that's worth it. But again, you got to know what you need. What you need is, again, to make solid choices. Choice of either being loved or the choice of being tossed to the side. If you choose to be loved, hey, better lock in with somebody and just go the distance. And again, have no doubts. If you know you have made a clear decision, rightful decision, don't do anything to mess that up. Because once you do, the value of it will just be tainted. Plain dog getting tossed to the side, keep on out there and thinking that the grass is always going to be greener. Keep on being out there and doing certain things and just not caring. You'll care at some point because when you finally do to say, I'm going to find something or I'm going to try to find something and slow it down. In some instances, it'll be too late. Like I said, at some points, the pool does get a little slimmer. Then again, you still could have options. But again, those options will still be limited. Just about a matter of being responsible for yourself. That's all. I ain't gonna hold y'all all night. This was just a recap from the previous live. And again, I want somebody to take that into consideration. You get one shot, you do it right. Or try to do it the best way you can. But be responsible and be safe. Anybody in the future who might catch this goes all around the board. Fellas, ladies, be careful and be safe with your bodies. Be careful and who you wrap yourself up with, who you entangle yourself with. But the most important thing again is just make sure you really lock down with somebody that's solid all around the board and accepts you for you. And again, some things you just gotta read. If you see a bunch of red flags, you Just stay clear away from it. If you still decide to make those decisions knowing that there's multiple red flags, again, that's a decision you're gonna have to live with. Can't blame nobody else but yourself. Making better choices and decisions, it's less accountability you have to worry about. But again, you have to be accountable for what you're doing and who you're doing. And you got to be responsible on that level too. So again, if you don't plan on feeding another mouth, you don't plan on being responsible for life, you don't plan on going through some form of breakup, child support, so on and so forth. And that's on both ends again. You better be responsible in what you do. And if you can barely do for yourself, then shoot. You gotta think twice about anything else. Get yourself in order. Worry about the other stuff later. People have to stop running after those who can't recognize. Well, exactly. You know, again, it's just about making sure everything is right and together. For some of y'all, if you got solid choices, solid decisions right now that are working for you, continue to keep prospering. Don't lose focus at the main mission. Because the main mission ain't over. There are some things that, again, just needs to be revamped. And when you're giving out this type of advice right here, this is the type of revamp that you need. I'm just keeping it a buck. You know, you don't want to be held responsible for a lot of different things. Hey, you got to be responsible in what you're doing. Won't be the end of the world. If anything, shoot, they keep you in a better position. At least until you are ready to get into that point of building and growing the structure the way you supposed to. But hey, um, again, when you see the clear signs, you gotta know how to make your decision. And don't just make your decision again off of feeling and based off of emotions. Base it off of logic and reason. That's all. But I ain't gonna hold y'all all night. This is just again a recap from the previous live. Hopefully somebody did get something out of this. Ladies and gentlemen, again, be safe out there. All aspects of life. And if you can avoid certain things, avoid it. But again, you make better choices, you can definitely make better decisions. Be observant and be vigilant. Just a good talk tonight. For those that might just be tuning in, y'all could catch the first and you could catch this part of the live stream. I don't play games. Try to boot me off, I'll be back. Yeah, but again, just again, make better choices. Focus on those who are really locked in on you. Some people try to go after what they want, and the things that they need is right there, right in their face. I think about your needs and not about your wants. If you want opportunity, want the best chances of growing and growing with somebody, you have to choose wisely. It's the only way. But yeah, you know, appreciate everybody that tuned in. Appreciate everybody that's been a part of the build, still becoming a part of the build. And yeah, we still gonna keep having deep discussions and conversations. And again, apologize, y'all. I was expecting my live to crash abruptly, but nonetheless, I still was gonna get out this work. You know, for those celebrating birthdays, because yes, I know it's still Scorpio season. Huh? Hopefully, y'all enjoy your week. Well, shoot, we almost to the weekend now. Hopefully, y'all enjoy y'all day, period, your weekends overall. And if you're going to celebrate, again, another year of life, give praises where it's due. Enjoy every moment of it. And keep creating those memories, you know. Another year, another blessing. And again, appreciate everybody that rocked out. And for those that are just tuning in, you can catch both of these live streams. They'll be up. The first part of it, if you felt that you missed out on something, come back and listen to the remix. Yeah. Appreciate all y'all for rocking out. But I'll definitely see y'all not tomorrow. I could be doing something Friday, so you know. Always a blessing to bring sun to the people, and that's what we got to keep doing. So, you know. Hashtag growth mindset, self-reflection, self-development. Exactly. And I said it better. But yeah, I see y'all definitely running around these streets. Time for me to be an adult, y'all. Time for me to be an adult. But I'll definitely see y'all on the back end. Hopefully y'all enjoy the rest of your evenings. I already know it's morning and early afternoon across seas. I still need my lottery numbers for tomorrow today, son. Need that. Need that. But yeah, let me get my ass up out of here. If y'all was new to the channel, like, share, comment, and subscribe. Shout out to the replay game. Shout out to the Shadow Mafia and the Shadow Babies. Y'all know what it is, baby. Everybody that was in attendance tonight, y'all already know that love is love and they'll be reciprocated as such. I don't know how to be fake. All I can do is give you real. That's all I'm gonna do is give you real topics and real bills. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Will not anticipate. Coffee cups in the chat. Now I will demonstrate. 3 sugars in the creamer, and I will levitate. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'll leave y'all alone. Leave y'all alone. But yeah, I'll definitely see y'all. If not tomorrow, I'll see y'all Friday, definitely. But hopefully somebody did get signed out this message. Y'all stay safe. Keep that third eye open. And until the next live, we out of here. Peace and blessings.